All right. So Joaquin, you was holding on to something. You had something in the clip you wanted to shoot. So
Yeah, this morning Paul sent me a clip, a YouTube video. It's almost like a bio of the Morant family and the upbringing. It's like about 15 minutes, and it just goes into the immediate family. I learned a lot about them. So before I watched that video, I had a lot of shit I was gonna come at Ja with, man. Just disrespectful shit. You idiot, you this. But that put me in a different mindset, mainly because apparently I knew nothing. I felt the same way about T, and I still do to some degree. He's like a fan instead of, being a dad to some degree, right? But then I watched that video and he made a lot of sacrifices. Apparently he was either overseas or he was on his way to go overseas. Got a phone call that, Ja was in the belly and he decided to end his career, his chance to be in the NBA or at least overseas to then segue into the NBA and became a barber, right? Don't know if he owned a barbershop or if he was just a barber. They didn't go into that detail. Talked about mom, her background, college, and all that. Talked about the grandmother who holds a lot of weight and keeps the family together. Talked about the little sister who happens to be supposedly better than Ja at this stage in life. So I learned a lot about them, right? And the first thing I thought about was, you know what? At some point, T got to be a dad. Because Ja talked about how he respects his parents, how he looks up to his dad, and how his dad is vicariously playing through him. So at some point, if I'm a dad, if I'm T, if I'm and Ja's my son, I'm gonna pull him to the side and have a heart to heart with him. I'm gonna have a heart to heart. And you know where it's gonna start? It's gonna start in the barbershop. You know why? Because most real conversations happen in the fucking barbershop. I'm gonna take my son to the barbershop and let him hear what his peers think of him. That's where I'm gonna start, right? And hopefully it starts setting in that he's making bad decisions, right? And after that barbershop tour, then I'm gonna take him to dinner and we're gonna have a conversation. What's your takeaways? How do you feel? What you thinking? Right? And then I'm gonna lay it down. I'm gonna say, bro, you never grew up in that life. So I don't know where this is coming from. You know, understand why the need to pull guns. Understand why the need to feel as if you don't have enough, right? And then I'm gonna reach out to Ja's agent and I'm gonna set up a round table with Michael Vick, Jason Williams, and Gilbert Arenas. Dudes that have pulled guns, or been in trouble with the league and lost a lot of fucking money, and some did time. Let them talk to him, sort of like a scared straight when we was growing up, right? Right? Just to get his mind thinking, just to get his mind fucking thinking, right? And after that intervention, then we gonna talk to Allen Iverson, MC Hammer, possibly Lamar Odom. Why? Because we're gonna talk to dudes that felt they need to bring their crew with them. And what the fuck happened? All of them went broke. Now, somebody on the last segment made a comment about bringing people with you. You got to realize you can't bring your crew. I listen to Steve Harvey every morning, and at least twice a month, he says he regurgitates a comment that his father made to him a long time ago. He said, "Everybody that come with you can't go with you." And the whole reason why he's meeting with Allen Iverson and MC Hammer and Lamar Odom is because they're gonna tell him, "Yo, bro, these was my peoples. I brought them with me, and now we all fucking broke." Right? After that, we're gonna have another dinner. What's your takeaways? After that, then we're gonna sit down with another three. LeBron James, Kevin Hart, Jay-Z. I picked them three specifically because I'm sure these are idols for Ja. These are fucking idols for Ja. So these are guys that came from the hood and succeeded and brought their crew with them the right way.
The right way, right?
The right way, right? And it can be subjective. Everybody can have their opinion about, how LeBron, how Jay, how Kevin did it. That's neither here nor there. The bottom line is they're successful, right? And their crew is with them. Have that conversation. Have an understanding of now, what's your takeaway? And at the end of the night, one last conversation. And that's with Udonis Haslem. Somebody that's well respected in the league, that came from the hood and actually wants to mentor Ja. Have that conversation with Ja, right? Because it's similar to, and I don't remember, I think, what's the football player that was on drugs? And, then when he signed with Tom Brady, they had like a crew of people that was watching his every move so he couldn't go bad.
Was that
He was suspended like 9
yeah,
times.
that's the receiver.
Yeah, it was a receiver.
What's his name?
I don't remember his name, but remember how he had accountability coaches? He had accountability people. He couldn't go to the bathroom without a person standing outside. That's what the system. Say it again.
Come on, Antonio Brown.
No. It was,
he's younger than Antonio Brown.
I'm a Google him before.
Yeah, his name is escaping me, but I know exactly what you're talking about. It's Josh something. I feel like his first name is Josh. I don't know.
Josh. Damn. Josh. Yeah, he came from the Browns. Josh.
Brown. He kept getting suspended for the weed and stuff.
For the weed.
Yeah. Josh Gordon.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, remember he had an accountability system.
Yeah.
Right. If I'm Ja's dad, that's what I'm setting up for my son. If he wants it, if he wants to be held accountable and he truly understands his actions has caused his demise. If that's what he does, if I walk away feeling that way and he's saying that, I'm setting up, because part of being a parent is ensuring that your children don't fuck up, regardless of how old they are. That's what I'm gonna do. But I'm only doing that if my son want to go straight, not if he want to continue going down that path, then I got to separate myself from the fandom, right? Because sitting at every game, courtside, chanting and happy and being hollering and all that, that's only promoting that bad behavior, So it depends on what Ja wants and the direction T want to go with his son. Because ultimately, the direction he going right now, bruh, it's only going to end up one or two ways, and it ain't positive. You keep pulling guns, man, you either going to do a shitload of time, and Ja not built for jail, not based on what I see, at least, and I know that's subjective, and he damn sure ain't built to be in a gang. He not. The only gang he built to be in is the one he in now, the fucking NBA.
Right.
That's who he should be, and that's the gang he should be promoting. Because not for nothing, based on his skill sets, he could be the next Giannis, the next Steph Curry, the next brand of the NBA.
And that's why I brought up Derrick Rose, because there was a lot of Derrick Rose comparisons, and
but the way they play,
their size, they both like 6'2", 6'3", explosive dunkers, fast, and it's just like, but the contrast of the upbringing is also great to the story. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, Derrick was kept away from that to the point where when he got in the league, he wasn't doing nothing crazy like this. He had gotten some trouble. They accused of rape or something, that got dismissed and put away. Don't know the specifics of it because they kind of what I'm saying, but he wasn't, other than that one thing, he never did anything. He never brought bad attention to himself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He didn't bring negativity to himself. You know what I'm saying? He had a kid, then he got moved on, got another kid with another woman. Like, he's married. Like, he, and he's always been a quiet dude. And he actually did an interview with Matt Hoffa. It's a pretty good interview to check out. And
yeah, that was a very good interview.
Yeah, and Derrick went through that was probably the most I've ever heard him speak. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he went through a lot, and he told you a lot of the stuff that he went through and stuff. And that's someone that Ja may need to talk to as well. You know what I'm saying? But before we go, I wanted to.
The last thing that I would add is, if Ja is ready to be held accountable and truly accepts that he's, messing up his own fate, then I'll hire me an Olivia Pope type that's going to clean up all this, right? The scandal's going to go away, fellas. You just can't keep doing it. We got way too many players. Y'all mentioned Tiger Woods earlier, right? He lost a lot of money, but then he came back. And then what happens? The sponsors came back too, right? And then you got guys like A-Rod. I'm a baseball guy. So a guy like A-Rod, he denied it so long. He actually tried to sue the league and the Yankees. And now look at him.
Mm-hmm.
Came back. So you got to take ownership, and then you got to go on an apology tour, bro.
And that's what I wanted to go to. That's
He's
what I wanted to
23.
lead up to. His latest apology. He released a statement through, Woj tweeted that he said, "I know I've disappointed a lot of people who have supported me. This is a journey, and I recognize there is more work to do. My words may not mean much right now, but I take full accountability for my actions. I'm committed to continuing to work on myself." That statement was released, that came out, but the internet go internet, and they found out that it may or may not have been a Chat GPT generated apology. So Waykme, you and I have had conversations about AI, not Allen Iverson, but artificial intelligence and where it's at today. And the internet found, now I don't know how true it is, again, it's the internet can Photoshop things, but someone typed in a Chat GPT, make an apology paragraph that you got caught again. And it literally said, "I deeply know I've disappointed a lot of people who have supported me, and this is a journey, and I recognize there is more work to do. My words may not mean much right now, but I take full accountability for my actions. I'm committed to continuing to work on myself." Almost word for word what his apology was. And I did it, and it came out very similar as well. So it's a possible, like I said, I don't know for sure if he or his people, agent, PR team, what have you. But like you said, if he wants to do better, the apology tour has to begin. And this wasn't it. They thought it was going to be that with the interview with Jalen Rose. And 2 months later, we back at it again. I just don't know. And now it lingers in the offseason. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't like, when he got suspended in March, he still had April to play. He still had time to say, you know what, I'm back, I'm playing, I'm focused. Yeah. But the offseason, it's going to just hang over him. And coming full circle to the Giannis interview, Giannis and his team got beat. They can go, it's only going to be that. Hey, maybe next year, so forth. But the Grizzlies, this lingers over that team, and specifically Ja. Will they even suspend him further? Right now he's suspended again. He can't do any participation with the team, but it's the off season. But that means public meetings and dinners and kid meetups,
engagements, all that type of stuff.
And then when training camp starts, so G League stuff, summer league stuff, he can't participate. None of that, and it can be extended into the season. So he's already affecting his next season. He's affecting his little sisters in high school, and now teams, colleges are going to be like, do we want to deal with this family? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So now it's trickling, like Jared brought up. He lost his Nike contract. It's affecting him, and he needs to see that. His pops need to see that. His mom need to see that, because people have reached out to him and tried to talk to him. Don't know who have and have not. But if this isn't a wake-up call, this is strike two, I guess. You know what I mean? But if this isn't enough of a wake-up call, then he gonna end up like MC Hammer and some of the people that you have mentioned, Waykme. And I just hope, I don't wish bad or negativity on nobody. You know what I'm saying? He made it. You're right now experiencing and living an opportunity that very few get, and you blowing the opportunity of a lifetime. You know what I'm saying? So I hope the off season he can stay out of trouble, because man, athletes in off season is always a dangerous thing. I hope he can stay out of trouble. He need to go, talk at a NRA meeting or something, or do something to, for community service.
That's the worst place he could be. The NRA meeting.
But I want to say that's the worst place. I mean, he needs to talk to people who actually understand firearms and what it is you can and cannot. Well, not what you can and cannot do, but how you should treat and respect firearms, because he really doesn't have any respect. And those are people who are going to teach him how to respect what he has. Right. Like, you don't treat a firearm, especially you treat one thing they always say, and that's rule 1 of 3. Treat every firearm like it's loaded. I don't care if it's unloaded or not. I don't care if it's a toy. Treat every firearm like it's loaded. He doesn't do that. Like, he plays with that shit. Like, it's the ignorance behind it. So yeah, he needs to speak to actual gun rights. Well, yeah, like gun rights people. You know, there's plenty of them out there to talk to. Like, he needs to speak to those people too to understand what am I doing wrong and stuff like that. And they're going to teach him about perception and stuff.
And not to be a jerk, but can you imagine he had the gun in his waist and he did a little gritty dance? And never mind. I'm sorry. Never mind. But like I said, I want to wrap it up there.
I think the last thing, the worst thing that could happen for him is to be suspended, right? And to be and I think in the current state, he's not allowed to be around the facilities and things like that. So all that's doing is enabling him to continue being around the wrong kind of people.
That's what I'm saying.
Right?
That's
why it's imperative. That's why it's imperative for his dad to step up and understand, you know, the climate, right? You know, there was a lot of great points made, you know, and I go back to you, Jared, when you said he has no awareness off the court. That's 100% fact. And it seems like the parents may not be aware of his lack or his inability to have that awareness, right? Because when it's all said and done, he is in the spotlight for everything he does, everything. So he gotta think 2 and 3, 4 steps ahead of people before he make a move. Because it's gonna get second guessed. It's gonna get, you know, twisted and turned around and stuff like that. And that's why he got agent. And that's why I said, you know, if my son is coming to me and he's understanding the missteps, then I go back to the fact that he's 23. Then I go back to the fact that he has a shitload of money. Then I go back to the fact and say, you know what? It's my job to put you in a position to be successful and support you. And that's when I hire all these people that's going to make sure at no point he has these issues. His friends can still be around. I'm not removing him from his friends. You know, that's the people that he lean on. But they can't do things without the approval of whomever is in that position. You know, they gotta have some type of accountability, bro. At 23 and you got a lot of money, you have no accountability. And it's okay when you're not part of a brand, when you're not part of an NBA that has a shitload of people waiting to point the finger at why they went wrong. That's okay. You know, if you work in a 9 to 5 and you got a ton of money, no responsibilities, and you don't want to be accountable, that's all fine and good, bro. But that's not who you are. And he has to recognize that.
There's 2 sayings that come to mind for that. To John in general. 1, the world loves a good comeback story.
Yep. Very forgiving.
And 2, they should have never gave the niggas money. So.
But to that first point, the world is very forgiving. Like, we know a lot of, you know, all these athletes that's fucked up and came back, resurrected their career. But we're very forgiving as people, but we need you to be accountable and own your shit. So send in an apology via text, via social media. That's why Will Smith got all that backlash, right? And I'm only using Will Smith because that was the last celebrity that was in the controversy, right? He got a lot of that backlash because he did the shit. He hid behind a computer. Like, people don't want to. We want you to be genuine about it. You know, just like if I did something to you or your family and I'm apologizing, you don't want me to send you an email. Right. You want me to step to your face and be genuine. You know, so whatever transpires after, we know it was genuine. That's what we want. You know, but again, and I don't mean to harp on his age, that's the difference between a 23-year-old and somebody that understands and that wants to take responsibility and move forward. Right? And A-Rod had to go through that shit too. Or somebody smart got in A-Rod's ear and said, yo, bruh, you already fucked up, you know, close to 100 million. You want me to show you the blueprint on how to get this money back?
Right.
And he listened. So that's what's got to happen for the Morants. So they can stop going, so he can go from, Ja Moran back to Ja Morant. Because he is being a moron with the moves he's making.
Yeah, there you have it. Like I said, thank you for everyone who's listening and watching. Comment your thoughts below. Tell us where you agree or disagree with what we said today. Like I said, I wish he can get it right. You know what I'm saying? The benefit is he still is young. But he gotta realize the opportunity that is in his hands right now, that he's messing up. He can't blame anybody else. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to put any, like, it's not because of his race. It's what the decision that he's making, and he got to understand that. And whatever moves need to be made going forward, he has to take those so he can have a long career. And like I said, he'll be celebrated. The comeback story. If they can, win some games, he can win an All-Star MVP, maybe a championship. Whatever happens, this will all be forgiven. You know what I'm saying? If he can just get right, get focused, stick to the game, and just be about that. You know what I'm saying? And this is, unfortunately, this is where a lot of players miss Kobe. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of the players like Ja's age, Kobe was their guy. You know what I'm saying? And him being around, and he was being more vocal and being more communicative with players. This would have been a perfect opportunity, you know what I'm saying, for a mentorship or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So unfortunately, the league is going to be still dealing with that loss, for years to come, because Kobe was a lot of the guys, and then LeBron will be the guy for the next generation, and he's a good role model, family man, kid, like, you know what I'm saying? So the kids will be straight with that, but Kobe is going to be, missed in this middle, gap of players. But, again, once again, shout out to everybody listening, shout out to everybody watching. I appreciate you commenting.
Paul, I got a quick point and
I've
a
been
quick
trying to
question.
wrap this up. What up, Bucky?
Real quick. So what we didn't touch on, and I just thought about this, is the fact that, there's collateral damage for his little sister too.
I said that.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
So the question I want to ask then is, to that point you was making, Paul, about senior leadership, do you guys feel if he was either on a team, or excuse me, if the team decided to trade for an older player, veteran player that could provide some leadership, or if Ja got traded to a team where it was a supporting cast of veterans and there was a senior coach, like a Greg Pop, right? Would that enhance his career or help him make better decisions?
I think it would definitely help making decisions. I think enhancing his career would determine on the output on the floor. But as far as like, because it's funny you brought up Udonis Haslem, because I was having a conversation about this, and was talking about like how that whole team, Memphis, is full of young dudes with no respect, like young, full of them. Like they look at these players that came before them, and it's like whatever. And then, they're talented players. They know they can get out there and do their thing, so they feel like y'all can't tell us nothing. But they don't also realize that y'all don't know nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, and rightfully so, y'all are young. You know what I'm saying? But they're not willing to take that tutelage. So I was saying, like, this would never. I don't think a lot of this doesn't happen if Ja is drafted by Miami. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't see Udonis Haslem watching this and not pulling them to the side, like, bro, what the fuck? Like, we don't do this here, bro. Like, what you like, what you thought this is? Like, you know what I'm saying? And so I think I think there's no way they trade him, but if they were to sign somebody, because they Iguodala came on the team and they all clowned him, and they showed him no respect. So I don't know what putting a vet on that team is going to do, because they all feel they know everything anyway. But if he were to go somewhere, I hope it would be with somebody who's could really play that mentorship role for him.
I'm glad you mentioned go ahead, Jared, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, because right quick, I was gonna say, like, I don't remember if it was that clown Dylan Brooks. I think it was that clown Dylan Brooks who said the comment about these older players, like when Melo was saying that, I wish that I was on that team to mentor. They said all these older dudes, all they're trying to do is just show they still got it. They're not really trying to come here to mentor with stuff like that. So they ain't got no respect for an older group of people. Like they just care about their shit. So,
and that's what I was going to go into, because we've seen it happen with the Minnesota Timberwolves and Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So again, full circle to where we at right now with the culture and Jimmy Butler and what he's doing with Miami and all that stuff. Minnesota had that. Tom Thibodeau was the coach. He's over here with the Knicks, bringing a culture, got them in the playoffs, making some noise. Jimmy got Miami in the playoffs, making some noise. And the Timberwolves, he making no noise. And we've seen it firsthand what a mindset, a mentality, a culture can be brought from a player, and that will to win, and saying, yo, if you just listen or you just like rock with me and follow this coach. I used to play with this coach. He saying I like his philosophies, da da da. I got this mentality, work out with me, we're going to the gym, let's go on the mo-. And you have somebody on the team to do that. And the Wolves, Cat and all of them was just like, man, shut up, old head, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
and he left. And you know what I'm saying? And Jimmy, again, like I said, fast forward a couple years later, Jimmy got the culture right in Miami. Tibbs, it took a little while. He got the culture right in New York. And Minnesota's struggling, you know what I'm saying? And you see that. And right now, Memphis is riding off of their young athleticism, and they're talking a lot of trash, and they haven't won anything.
They haven't even done anything.
And that's unfortunately the league nowadays. You know what I'm saying? You seen Jordan Poole, Draymond had to put hands on him, and we seen recently Draymond was trying to talk to Poole during the game, and he just egged him and walked right past him. And Steph Curry had to yoke him up, like, no, he's talking to you. Like, you know what I'm saying? So culture, leadership, you know what I'm saying? Poole's still hard-headed, but we know they're trying. You know what I'm saying? We see them trying. Iguodala's on that team. He spoke of him too. We know that team has vets, just won last year, proven winners, and Jordan Poole still, whatever. So,
but that's his problem.
And that's what I'm saying. That goes to a lot of the youth of the league now. They will have multiple vets on their team with rings in their hand. You got a ring too. You know what we can do here. Right. And you still on some, I got it. I know what to do. All right. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, that's they say, youth is wasted on the young. You know what I'm saying? And when you young, athletic, and can jump through the roof, you think you know it all.
Yep.
You ain't worried about that fadeaway when I could dunk on everybody. Yep. I ain't worried about setting a pick and roll. Just give me the ball, old man.
Right.
And the legs stop working like that. Now you're like, all right, show me that jump shot again you was talking about. I'm gonna move a little slower now. I got a little jab step, you said? Got a little jab? Okay. You know what I'm saying? And that's the league. Mike went through it. Mike was jumping over everybody. And then he had to work on that fadeaway. He got tired of getting beat up by the Pistons and stuff. He had to say, all right, let me slow this down a little bit, and I could work them out here mid-range. You know what I'm saying? So it takes an adjustment. It takes some time. And like I said, I don't want to give up on Ja. I don't want to give up on Ja yet. I feel, like I said, but like Waykme said, he got to want to do better. He got to see a reason to do better. He got to realize what he's doing is not beneficial to himself, his career, his family, his sister's career, the future. He has to see what he's doing to all of those, to the domino effect. And until he sees that, we'll be going through this again in another couple of months. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to leave it there, fellas.